bundle actually. But it's called Gathered Wheat. And so this particular stamp set has some just really fun images, and I love the little greetings or the sentiments in this set. So we're going to play around with this set today, and actually the card ideas were inspired by some fun fold cards that I made this past week, that I shared with you on Wednesday. So I'll show you those fun fold cards at the end. I did link to the other video that has those fun fold card ideas, so I'll show you those later. But today we're going to just use up some of the scraps that I had left over from creating those fun fold cards. And then I'm going to show you just a fun and simple little technique with your ribbon. So I'll get to that in just a little bit. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. So these are the cards that I was playing around with after I created the fun fold. So there's just a variety of different card ideas here using up scraps. So I have two cards that use this smaller thing of wheat, and then I have the larger wheat image over here. So I'm going to show you the two different ideas for each of those images. So let's start out. Actually, we're going to start out with this one because this is the little technique that I want to share with you. Let me grab a piece of scrap paper here. So, one of the things that I had forgotten about until I was playing around is that you can stamp on your ribbon. So, I didn't know if you guys were aware of that, that you can stamp on the ribbon, different types of ribbon. So, I have some of the natural ribbon. Let's see, what's this called? Natural finish ribbon. So, that's what it looks like. And I thought it would be really cool to stamp some of the wheat image on this particular ribbon. So I started out stamping it. You can see here, I started out with this one. I just kind of stamped it using the crumb cake. So we're gonna try something here. I didn't try this before the video, but we'll try it during the video, see how it works. So I'll start out with just using some crumb cake ink. Let me just move this to the side. So we'll just ink this up with a little bit of crumb cake ink. And basically what you do is you just go down your ribbon. You just kind of align the image where you want it and just kind of stamp down your ribbon. Now what I noticed with this one, see how nice it looks? It looks really nice. But the ink kind of what do I want to say? Kind of soaked into the ribbon, and my image got a little bit faded, I guess. So I'll show you that in a second. So I'm just using crumb cake ink and I'm just stamping down this ribbon. So it's just kind of a nice way to um, dress up your ribbon a little bit, and then it looks really cool on the card. However, for this one, it kind of got a little bit faded. It could have been from my lights down here, but this is the way it was supposed to look before I faded it. So that's the crumb cake. But you can also, I was thinking you can also do it in a little darker ink. So I'm going to try soft suede and see how dark that is. So let's try a little bit of soft suede ink. Like I said, I was going for a more subtle look, but it got a little more subtle than I wanted it. So let's put it right here. See how dark that is. So that gets a little bit darker there. So I'm just going to add a bunch on here. And like I said, you can just kind of stamp all the way down your piece of ribbon and then just cut it, um, to length. Cut it however, for whatever length you need it for your card. So I don't know, which one do you think? I'm still kind of liking that subtle look with the crumb cake. But so anyways, there's just a variety of different things that you can do with your ribbons. So if you have some thicker ribbon like this, then I would recommend, just using your stamp images to add just a little bit of detail to your ribbon. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. I think I'm going to go with the lighter one. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's see. Let's bring it back. The darker one looks nice, but I think the other one fits better. That's just my opinion. Okay, so let me show you how to make this card. So now that we have our ribbon all taken care of, I got all my little pieces here. Whoops. I think I grabbed the wrong one here. Hang on. Okay, so what I did is I used crumb cake for the base of my card. And then I'm using some of that Gingham Cottage Designer Series paper. So there's all kinds of gingham patterns in this particular paper pack. And I just thought the yellow went really well with, the wheat images. So that's what I decided to use. So this piece is just 3 by 4 inches. And then I have another piece here that is just 1/4 inch larger. So it's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So the first thing I'm going to do here is just adhere these pieces together. And then I'm just going to add my ribbon over the top. So we'll add this. And actually, I want a little bit more white showing on this side. So I'm going to add my ribbon on this side. So basically, you can use liquid glue or you can use like regular snail type adhesive. I'm going to grab my Stamp and Seal. I keep calling it snail, but Stamp and Seal. So let's see if I can add some of this to the back here. Got too much stuff out. So we'll just add this right off the left side here. And then we'll just fold these pieces over. Okay, it doesn't want to come out. Of course, I'm going to run out. Oh, we'll add it right to the ribbon. That's easier. There we go. So we'll just fold these pieces. I just fold them over to the back. You can trim them off if you want, but it's just easier to fold them over to the back. So that's what it looks like. So it just kind of gives it a nice little look. Unless you leave it in your light, then it fades. It fades in my light. All right, so the next thing I did is just cut a 2 by 4 3/4 inch piece of vellum. So I am going to add this to this side of the card front. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of splatter. So there's a really cool splatter image in this particular stamp set. So I'm just going to use a little bit of crumb cake ink and this splatter image and add that up towards the top. And then I'm going to adhere this with liquid glue. So we'll add this right across here. And then I just stamped that little wheat image. So in this particular stamp set, I have it in a bundle. There's a variety of different dies in here that will cut out all the images, that are from the stamp set. So the large wheat image and then the smaller one. And then there's other little die cuts that you can use to decorate your card. So I stamped this on a piece of white cardstock with the crumb cake ink. And I'm just going to add a couple dimensionals on here. So we'll pop this up and then we'll just kind of tuck some of the other little die cuts around it. So it's a pretty simple design. And for me, it was a great way to use up some of these. I had some leftover scrap pieces of vellum and some other stuff. So I just kind of thought, well, let's just use those up to make the cards that I'm sharing with you today. So we'll add our little wheat image. And then these little pieces I cut from some distressed gold specialty paper. And what I did is just added a little bit of glue towards the bottom. So I didn't add glue to the whole entire thing because I wanted this to kind of stick up a little bit, like the end of it to kind of stick up a little bit. So I just added glue to the bottom here. And then this one will tuck in here. We can get it in there. Get in there. There we go. So see how it just kind of leaves these curl a little bit. And then the last thing is just adding a little greeting. So I'm going to stamp this. So there's a variety of different greetings in here. And I just thought we would use this one. Whoops, and I made it crooked. Let's try it again. That's what happens when you have a camera in front of you. You can't tell how you're stamping. Well, that's pretty good. Pretty good with a camera in front of me. All right, so what I'm going to do is just basically this is going to come off the edge here. So I just want probably about that much. And I'm just going to snip the end into a little banner. There we go. I think that'll be pretty good. And then we'll just add a couple dimensionals. So it's a pretty simple design. And then you can add, ribbon, like little twine or something to decorate it up. Let's see, I think I can add one more right in here. See, that's why you have two sides to your cardstock so that you can flip it over and start again if you don't stamp it correctly, which I didn't like the first time I stamped. And then you could just add a couple little festive pearls. That's what I used to decorate this particular card was festive pearls. So I thought the gold ones went very nicely with this. So we'll just add a couple here. And that's the first card. So again, like I said, you can add, the little twine and stuff like that if you want to add that. It looks great just like this too. So, and then did I put anything on the inside? Oh, I did a little bit of stamping on the inside with the wheat and this particular splatter image. So just a fun card, a fun way to use that ribbon. So sometimes the ribbon, if the ribbon is really large like that, it's great to use it kind of like you would use designer paper. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. And I'll show you the next one. So this next one, for some reason I feel like I don't have enough room today. So this next one just uses a variety of little scraps that I had. So as I was creating my fun fold cards, which I'll show you in just a minute, I had just a variety of little scrap pieces and I couldn't get myself to throw them away. So I decided to create a card with them. So these are the little scrap pieces that I had. This is 1.5 by 4. And so I just am going to be adhering this off the side like that. And then I had a little scrap piece of vellum. So this is 1 by 3.5. So this is that specialty vellum. It's called layering vellum. So the first thing I decided to do was just add my little wheat. So knowing that I was going to go off the left side with with my designer paper and stuff, I just decided to add my wheat there. So you can just stamp that image. And let's go ahead and add this. So we'll add this. So sometimes it's good just to kind of play around with the scraps that you have. And I like to layer them together like this, just to kind of use them up. So that's what that looks like. I have to grab my splatter image and just clean it off. So I'm going to use some of the yellow as soon as I find it on my table. Here it is. So I'm going to use some of this yellow. This actually coordinates with the designer paper. That's why I chose this color. So saffron or saffron, tomato, however you say it. So we'll add a little bit of splatter up there. And I suppose I should throw my paper underneath here quick. And we'll add a little bit of splatter down here. See, the splatter just kind of pulls everything out, I think. I think it just looks really cool. Adds a little bit more, you know, depth and dimension to your card, I feel. All right, so let's get this on our card base. So I'm just using crumb cake cardstock for the base of the card. So we'll add this. And then this time I'm going to use, because I had a leftover piece of crumb cake cardstock, I'm just going to use that to add my little greeting. It's a good thing I stamped it already so that I don't show you a bad stamping again. All right, so let's add this right in here. We'll go up a little bit. And then I just cut out some more of those little die cut pieces. And again, I just added those um, by adhering just a little bit here on the bottom, adding just a little bit of glue. And I just kind of filled in like the white space around this wheat image. So I have a couple gold ones, distressed gold. And then I have just a yellow one that I put in the center. Let's tuck that in a little bit more. There we go. And then I had a little leftover piece of this trim. So instead of throwing it away, I just thought it would be good to stick it right up here. That's what I did. That's how I came up with this design. It's kind of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and voila, there you go. We have a cool card. All right, so I'm just going to add a couple more festive pearls. So the card really did turn out cool, and it's all scraps. All of that is scraps, and then your background is your stamping. So it's a fun way to use up scraps. And then I think I pretty much just stamped on the inside of all my cards. Just use that image. It's a great image that'll stamp nicely off to the left side, so it looks really cool on the inside of your card. So I don't know which one you like better, with the crumb cake or with this yellow over here. I'm kind of liking this one, but this one looks good too. I'm not picky. So let's see. Let's put this over here. We'll put this here. And then I'm going to show you a couple other ideas actually using this larger wheat image. And I'm going to show you this cool little label die here. So let's grab this. So I'm using pretty much crumb cake crumb cake cardstock for all of my cards. So this one has a couple different pieces. I'll just give you all the pieces, all the sizes first, and then I'll get into making the cards. So this is just a three. Oh, how did I do that? Yeah, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So this is just going to go right across the center. And then the other pieces that I have are 2 3/4. So this is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then this early espresso piece underneath is just 3 by 4. So these two will get adhered together. And then I stamped that large wheat image just on some crumb cake cardstock using crumb cake ink. And then I just sponged a little bit of crumb cake ink all the way around this image. And then I just die cut it out, uh, using the coordinating die from the set. And then this other piece that I want to show you. So I did a little bit of heat embossing for my greeting. But in this die set, there is a little label die that fits this thinking of you. So this is what the label die looks like. And it's got, notice how it's got these two pieces right here. Those two pieces actually add little, whoops, they add little score marks to this banner. So you just fold on the score line, fold on that score line, and then you fold this one up. So you have two little score lines there, and it makes this really cool little banner. So that's what it looks like. And so you have the score lines on both sides. So I just thought that was really cool. A nice little greeting for your card. And this, when you mail it, this does fold down. If you don't put any dimensionals underneath, this does fold to the left or to the right, so it won't get squished during mailing. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere these pieces together. And I'm going to add some splatter image. I'm going to stamp some of that splatter in the background too. So let's do that. And I got to grab my scrap paper. So we'll add a little bit of the splatter up here. And then I'll add some down here. And then we can just adhere all the pieces. So this is a really great layout if you have a large image, like I have this large wheat image. So it makes a really nice focal point right in the center of the card. So you can use this layout with any large image that you have. So if you don't have the wheat, you can certainly use it with something else. And then I have a piece of vellum that I put behind here just to kind of mute it a little bit. And so my vellum piece is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. So 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And so this is going to go right across the center here. So I'm going to add this first, actually. So we'll add this piece. And you don't have to add the vellum. I like to add the vellum because it just kind of breaks it up a little bit. And I don't know, just gives it another fun little layer. So we'll add that. And then we'll add our wheat. I'll add a couple dimensionals here. So this stamp set was one of those stamp sets where I was kind of like on the fence about. I thought it was really cool, but then I wasn't sure how I would come up with an idea to use this big, large wheat. It just seemed really huge. But it is really a very pretty stamp set and pretty easy to use. So I'm just adding some glue here behind my thinking of you. So I just added glue to these little pieces that attach to the vellum. And then I just can go ahead and add these other little pieces. So if you're wondering where I got this designer paper from, this is from that Rustic Harvest designer series paper pack. So that's the Cajun, and then the gingham is the gingham cottage. Whoops, I guess I didn't have that secured. Well, let's add a little bit more. We'll tuck that in there. There we go. And then we'll add our gold piece. So those two colors seem to really go well together. That's why I just chose a little bit from each pack. Nope. Apparently I'm not putting enough glue on there. All right, let's get this thing stuck down. There we go. All right, so that's what that design looks like. And then I think I did the same. Oh, I added some designer paper on the inside. So, all right, so I'm going to set this one aside. And then the last one is just one that I created using some leftover scrap pieces of pattern paper. So here's what it looks like. So the first thing I did is just cut this, whoops, cut this piece of early espresso cardstock. So this is just 3 3/4 by 5. So that's kind of our main background. And then I have a, let's see, this is 3 3/4. This is 1 by 3 3/4. And then this one is 2.5, 2.5 by 3 3/4. So those are the top pieces. And then the bottom piece is just a piece of white cardstock. That is 3 3/4, and this is 3.5. So this is 3 3/4 wide, and it's 3.5 long. So that's the basic design. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these. So like I said, this is a great way to use up your scraps. So if you have some scraps, just create a little pattern in the background, and then you can add whatever large focal point you have. We'll add that. And then I'm going to stamp a little greeting. I thought I stamped these already. Apparently I didn't. Oh, that's what happens when my mind has been kind of with my new granddaughter. So my son and his wife had their second child on Friday, so my mind has been a little distracted lately with the baby, and she's beautiful. And where's my stamp set? Here it is. So mom and baby are healthy. Everybody's doing good. So it's always fun when you get a new baby. The grandkids are always fun. All right, there we go. So now I got that stamped. So we'll add this. So she was born on Friday morning at like 5:45 in the morning. And her name is Maisie Jean. And she was about 7 pounds, 1 ounce. So 19.5 inches long. And her big sister, Scarlett, just loves her. So it's all cute. So cute. Kind of takes you back, you know? All right. So let's add our little, well, it's not really little. Let's add our big wheat piece. Thank you. Yeah, I'll have to share a picture with you guys. She's just beautiful. She's got a little peach fuzz for hair on top of her head, but she's really, really cute. So, but I'm the grandma, so I'm pretty biased. All right, so let's add these little guys. As you can tell, I like adding these little images here, these little gold images. I think it just kind of, you know, softens the large wheat image. I think that's why I like it. It just kind of softens it a little bit and adds a little bit more texture, to the card. A little bit more bling. And then I just took a piece of twine. Let's see. We'll just tie a quick little bow here. If my fingers weren't glued together, we could tie a bow. Let's try it again. There we go. So just tie a little bow. And then we'll add it right here with a glue dot. So I'm just going to take a little glue dot and just kind of roll it off of there. And we'll stick that right here. And then I like to put the knot right over that where I put that glue dot. And there we go. And then of course you can embellish it with, I embellished it with a couple rustic enamel dots is what I used. So just a really fun and simple card. And a great way to use up your scraps. Okay, so now let me show you the fun fold cards in case you guys missed these. So I put together a couple accordion fun fold cards using this particular stamp set, which is why I had some of that extra paper because I used a lot of different pieces to create these two cards. So I put together an accordion fun fold. So basically, I'll open this one first. I did it in landscape and portrait style. So it just opens like that, and you have three. It's kind of like a 3-panel card. So you have 3 different panels. Your bottom panel is just adhered to a piece of cardstock. So this is your card right here. So the base is your standard 5.5 by 4.25 inch piece of cardstock. So I just created this accordion fold so you can watch the video and get all the measurements for this one. It's just really a very simple accordion fold. And you can create it in portrait or landscape style. So here's the portrait one. And this one opens sideways like this in portrait style. So you can see here I used one of the dies from the set to create this piece on the bottom. And then that's where I got that extra piece. I had a little bit left over. That's where I used here on this card. I used that little tiny piece. But anyways, so these are the 2 cards, and the measurements for creating them are identical. So they open, if I turn the portrait one on its side, they both open the same way, the exact same measurements. Okay. The only difference is I decorated this one in portrait style instead of landscape style like this. So they're just really simple, very fun. It's a great way to use this stamp set if you have it. If you don't have this stamp set, like I said, you can always create some other focal point. You can use this for creating Christmas cards, birthday cards, whatever you want to do. So I did link to this video in the description with this video today. I linked to the video for the accordion fold. So let me bring some of these cards back here. So those are the accordion folds, and here are the other ones. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed these card ideas and just the look into this particular stamp set. This is one of those stamp sets that doesn't necessarily jump out to you right away when you see it. Um, but it is really a beautiful set and it just has a lot of great sentiments in it for, expressing gratitude, thankful, thinking of you, just some great sentiments. So I will get all these card ideas out on the blog for you today with all the measurements. And I think that's all I have for you. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys again next week. So take care, everybody.